Kyle Tappan from Balance Health, coming to you with our week 3 move of the week. So what we're going to be doing this week is what's called a Romanian Deadlift, a version of the regular deadlift. And you'll notice that whenever there's another country's name before the workout, it's usually pretty tough. And so there's a bunch of different variations of this exercise, and I want to kind of show you guys that and show you all the different options with this type of move. And so to begin, it is a balance type exercise, especially if you're going to do it on one leg. I will show you guys one-legged and two-leg RDLs. There's two different ways of doing it. For this exercise, we're going to be working on our back side. So we're going to be working on our hamstrings, mainly right behind our thighs. Our glutes are going to play a little bit of a role, as well as our lower back. Those are kind of the three main muscle groups that we're going to be working through this one. So I want to show you from the front and the side in terms of just the two-legged RDL. And so you can do this with a lot of different types of resistance. You can use dumbbells, you can do body weight, you can use a barbell, and you can also use like a half bar, like an easy bar, or curl bar, or something like that. So I'll go ahead and show you guys this with the dumbbells here to start. What you want to do for the Romanian deadlift, a regular deadlift, obviously there's going to be some bend in the knees as you're doing that. The Romanian deadlift, in order to get the hamstrings working, you want to keep those knees fairly straight. And so I don't want you to have them locked, but I do want you to have them slightly bent and try to keep them there. Don't let them bend any more than what you have them. Try to keep them locked right there. So from the front view, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and sit my hips back, keeping my back nice and straight. I'm going to go down as low as I can. At about that point, I start feeling a nice pull in my hamstrings, and that's exactly where you should feel in it. So we're going to go back down. Notice that I'm keeping my back nice and straight. All of the bend is happening in my hips, okay? That's what you want to make sure of. Deadlifts are very important to keep good form in. So I'll show you from the side because this is really going to show you the hip motion and how we're keeping the back straight. Again, if the hips are back, my shoulders are back as well. I'm going to go ahead and drop forward, dropping down as far as I can, get a nice pull in my hamstrings, sitting my hips straight back and then come back in, noticing that my knees aren't bending at all, my back is staying straight. We don't want to see any of that C curve. That's when you can put a lot of pressure in the low back and you can injure yourselves. So if you've never done this move before, I would make sure to start with lighter weight, more repetitions to get used to it. So okay, right here. Okay, you can use a bunch of different type of resistance. One leg RDL, we're going to get a little bit of balance involved, and it's going to be a little tougher because you're working one leg while the other one's up. So for this one, usually the easiest thing to do is to try to find an object and try to reach for it. And so one thing that you can do that with, simply, especially if you've never done it before, is just with a cone or something that could be off the ground a little bit, just to get used to the motion, especially if you're having balance issues. So for this one, you're going to go ahead and reach with the same leg that's going up, okay, same side. So my right leg is coming up as I'm bending down towards the ground, and my right arm is reaching for the cone. So that's what we're shooting for there, okay? Then I'm going to keep going into that. If it's a little tough at first, you can tap that leg that's been coming up on the ground. That's totally fine. While keeping, again, my leg that's on the ground, my plant leg, my knee is staying fairly straight. You should have the same type of feel where you're getting that pull through the hamstring. Okay? So I'll show you this from the side view. Back is staying nice and straight. This one isn't necessarily about speed. You should be nice and in control. You'll feel probably that your ankle is kind of moving side to side, trying to keep it stable. To make it a little bit harder, try not to touch that foot down to the ground. On the up phase, where you're resting here, or on the down phase. Okay, make sure to alternate between the two. If the cone ends up being easy, try to reach for something lower. You can try to reach for the ground. Now, if you feel like when you're reaching for the ground that your back is arching a little bit, maybe don't go down that far. You also can add a little bit of weight to it. Or now I'm doing the same move. Add a little bit of weight coming in. Okay, you also, if you need a little bit more stabilization to start, you can hold onto a bench or the wall or something like that to get used to the move. Again, really focusing on keeping that back nice and straight. And just again with the resistance, you can use barbell, a smaller bar, dumbbells, body weight. Not only good for the hamstrings, the glutes, and the back, but also really good for balance. So guys, if you guys have any questions or anything like that, or comments, please feel free to comment below. And subscribe to our page. We would love that. Thanks, and we'll see you next week.